If you're an audio fanatic like me, or just thinking about how to upgrade how you're listening to music or podcasts, you have to know about Victrola. They have been bringing innovation and style together since 1906. I'm going to tell you about one of their products that I got called the Journey Plus. It's a great sounding Bluetooth speaker and record player that's affordable and can link to my other Bluetooth speakers. It sounds so good and now sits on top of my old record player. They have over 30 different color options, so it fits in any room of the house. And of course, I got mine wrapped in denim. If you've ever seen us perform live, you know about my obsession with wrapping guitars and other stuff in denim. But they already did it for me. Right now, to show off their online record store, they're having special savings like free shipping on orders over $35 or more, as well as a great deal of 15% off if you buy 3 records from their record store. I got the new Run the Jewels record. I got a Stone Temple Pilots Holland import. They have tons of stuff on there, so make sure to check it out. So go to makingnoisepod.com/Victrola for your savings. That is makingnoisepod.com/VICTROLA for your special offers today.
3, 4. Make some noise!
Hey everybody, welcome to Making Noise. My name is Todd Johnson. My co-host Jay Connor unfortunately isn't here for this intro. He's on a peacekeeping mission in the Himalayas, so he'll be back with us soon. But this episode we have a really good close friend of ours, a guy named Fred Dunlap. Fred is a drummer and composer in town. He also plays multiple different instruments, but if you've ever seen the Revolvers, you've probably seen Fred play with us. He's also on a lot of our recordings and stuff that we have out. So before we get to the interview, I just wanted to say a couple quick things. We talk about this great project that me and Fred were a part of. Fred was the composer for a project which you may have heard last week when our interview with Elizabeth Kowalski. She runs Your Neighborhood Orchestra. And Fred was the composer for a song that I wrote called Mysterious Ways that's on our Use of Company EP. So he composed it for an 18-piece orchestra. They performed it. And also there was an interpretive dancer who did a dance performance for it. So if you want to see all of this, check out Your Neighborhood Orchestra, because this upcoming Sunday, May 2nd at 1 p.m., we're going to see that performance. So I'm super excited about it. I was so happy to be a part of it. And unintentionally, May 2nd is also my birthday, so it's pretty sweet that for my birthday I get to see this. But we talk about this project a little bit. We talk about, recording and his growing up and kind of being a military brat. And, that's one thing I really like about this podcast is I don't get a chance to, even with certain people, I'm now getting a chance to, I've known Fred for years. Fred, just playing around town and, going out afterwards or just meeting up at different, jam things. But, it's rare when we get to sit down with some of the people that we work with, because it still is a job. It still is a gig. And, you've got to be present for the gig. And it's great to actually to have Fred here and sit down and talk. I will say this too. I'm kind of explaining a few things already as far as what we're talking about in the interview, because Fred, like a good friend, showed up with a bottle of whiskey and said, do you mind if we have a little pour or drink a little during? And so we did. So fortunately, Jay Connor was here drinking water and kept us on track. So, but it was a lot of fun to have Fred on here, and I can't wait to keep playing shows with him and stuff. But exceptional dude, really good, fantastic composer, as I found out through doing this Your Neighborhood Orchestra project. And yeah, so one last thing, just to let you know, Todd Johnson and the Revolvers is releasing a new single May 9th. So I'm really excited about it. There'll be more info on that. So keep an eye out for that. But right now, here's our interview with Fred Dunlap.
I agree.
Yeah, it's a little different. Dude, thanks for. I guess we started. I don't really know. Thanks for coming on and being on this, man.
No, thank you for the opportunity and the invite.
Yeah. Well, and just to kind of like give some back note, like this is like the three of us hanging out right now is like this is what we probably do a few times a month or more if we could. I mean,
right.
Like, the Revolvers, the whole point of the Revolvers is being a revolving band, but to me, you two guys are the key members. You are always my first phone calls for any gigs. You're the drummer of this band.
I'm honored.
And Jay is the only saxophone player who will take my phone calls anymore.
Yep, I know, man. Nobody else wants that gig.
Is that what it is? Okay.
It's like, the pay's good? it's Todd.
Yeah, it's Todd.
Something came up.
Wait, is there going to be alcohol in this gig? Oh, there is? I'm definitely out.
I thought that was the only reason they were going to show up.
No, thank you, man. It's a joy to spend time and make music with you all. Yeah, I consider it a pleasure as well. This is delightful, but it's like you said, it's something we could do if we could anyway. So
right. Well, do you find I was kind of fine with doing the Revolver thing is that it's great to play. Like I love constant just constant change of getting different people and good opinions and mixing up the stew, I guess, as you would say, a little bit of different people. But you kind of start finding there's certain people that come around a little bit more. There's certain people you call up a little bit more. There's certain things like that you find and connect with where you kind of have. You kind of have a relationship with somebody much longer, especially as a musician. Do you find that too a little bit as far as like some of that stuff? Like, are there people that you gravitate to a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like with the Revolver, it's cool and refreshing when it is a different person or like different crew or different instrumentation. If it's an original show or a cover show that has different, pros and cons. But it's definitely very exciting. Rewarding. But like you said, there are some more consistent people than normal. And so, yes, I do like consistency as well. But I like consistency when consistency is mixing with quality.
I agree with you there, 100%.
Right. If they're not mixing with quality, then no, I don't look forward to that either.
I don't want to hang out with this guy. I know this show's going to suck, you know.
Like, even when I was telling my friend, like she was saying, you play different with bass and guitar as you play with guitar and saxophone. I was like, yeah, that's true. My role is different. I have less to lean on. When I have a bass player, like we're thumping and we're locked in. It's a different groove. Whereas with a saxophone, I'm a trio. I'm kind of like the rhythm section, and I'm the metronome. So I got a different role to play. So what I do and how I do it changes, So, like I said, the different situation, different people, who I'm playing with determines how much I have to behave too,
Yeah.
If they have to play Find the One, how prepared are they,
Right.
So, it's just like jazz. It's different every time,
Right, right. Well, that adaptability that comes in. Well, and that's something too that I've kind of realized with probably why there's certain musicians that just like not just with the quality is that adaptability. Like like we had Jason Atkins on, and Jason's one of those. He's one of those keyboard guys.
The beast.
That and he's played with every fucking body in town, and but he's one of those guys who's super adaptable. I would say that about you too, Jay.
Oh, thank you.
Because we'll do duo shows where, your lead voice is needed a lot more in a different way.
Right. Talk
about adaptability. I don't know if you remember this. I think it was the first Dempsey gig I ever played with you.
Ugh.
What was that place called? Because it's now something else.
Sunset Club, probably.
Sunset Club, but now
that guy has a cigar bar, and like Michael Jordan was a member, and there was like I just remember somebody telling me that when I went one time. Right?
Oh wait, no.
It was over south.
It was off Elizabeth. You know the place that used to be across from Philosopher's Stone? It's something else now. Caswell Station.
Was that our first gig?
That was the first gig I played with you, but it was called something else then. But like Philosopher's Stone was still there. They hadn't torn it down.
We played out on that deck.
On that deck.
Okay, now I remember.
Yeah.
That was also the first place I played with Colby.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
The
Also
first-
with Dempsey.
Also with Dempsey.
Yeah.
What is the place called? You know
I don't
I can't
remember.
Well, it's Caswell Station now, and it's exactly the same. I think they painted it, or it looks exactly the same.
Is it Cactus Jack's that's down there too? It's a
You're talking Jackalope Jack's.
Jackalope Jack's.
That place moved. That whole fucking strip of Elizabeth used to be so cool.
Yeah.
And then now it's just all.
Yeah, when I first moved to Charlotte,
Gentrified.
I had a year to enjoy Philosopher's Stones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it disappeared.
Yeah, it did. Well, and now they're still building whatever it was, and that place has been torn down for years. But Philosopher's Stone was my first gig with Colby was there. But my point being, Jesus Christ, I hope we edit that whole thing out. My point with that being was that was that first gig talking about adaptability that we played together. We did. Someone requested Folsom Prison. And I was like, yeah, we got it. We started playing it. And I looked at you real quick, and I was getting ready to say to you, hey, do you want to, take the solo? Because it's kind of hard to do the on an acoustic guitar with a saxophone and a bongos player. It doesn't work.
Right.
When I'm the guy going chun chicka chun chicka chun, for me to drop out.
You need to stay there, yeah.
Yeah, I need to stay there. And before I could even go, you're going to take this one. He goes, you take the solo, I got you.
Okay.
And I was like, the sax player has got me on the rhythm.
Right.
He's like, no, it's a well-known guitar solo. But do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I just want to see. Let's jump down this rabbit hole and see what the fuck happens.
Right. Were you excited or you nervous?
A little bit of both. Okay. And I love those. I love those in shows.
He was excited and nervous.
I love taking moments like that. As you guys probably know, I'm a big fan of in the middle of a show going, we're going to try something.
This is true.
We don't know if it's going to work.
Sometimes it works out pretty good. Sometimes, we
right.
just
spontaneous is sometimes very, very good.
Yeah, and I've definitely caught some Titanic moments with
right,
this.
you learned lessons.
Yeah. Well, I realized that anyway. My point was, we get to the guitar solo, and completely changes from being a baseline style sax thing that you're doing through the entire show,
right?
And played in a way where he did hold notes of the entire, the E note,
yeah,
and then. I mean, the dude's lung capacity to hold for 4 bars or whatever to change to the next chord. Like I never played with anybody. I never played with a horde player of any who has done that. And
never seen anybody blow like that.
The one and only.
I have experience.
Very impressed with Jay's blowing skills.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And that's how he stayed in the band.
Now that's the real reason you kick
$1,000 later out for gigs.
Thousands, please. We don't get paid that much.
Thousands.
The word is out, Jay.
The word is out. No, but that adaptability, I think is what I really, and when we catch that from certain people, I think I gravitate towards that.
Yeah, it's fun.
So I've known you going back a number of years. Actually, I think who did I play with first? I played with you first.
I'm trying to remember. I played with you before I played with Fred.
Yeah. I think I played with you before I played with Fred.
Was our first instance with Randy or?
I would imagine it would be
so.
with Randy. I thought you guys knew each other already.
Oh yeah. We had played together before.
You guys had played together
Yeah.
before you ever played with me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I played
Because
with you
Jay
and
was the
Randy.
one. Jay
Yeah.
was the one who was like, "You need to call Fred up." You know who would be a
okay.
good drummer for this gig?
Thank you.
Fred. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we maybe 13, 14.
Probably,
So,
yeah. Absolutely. Because it would have to been after Matt left.
Yeah.
But we've played together so long, and one thing I've never asked you, and this is something that I guess is at this point in my life, I never would have done it when I was around a bunch of musicians, but at this point in my life, it's something I want to ask every musician.
Okay.
As reflecting back on it. Why did you pick the drums?
Wow. I think the drums picked me.
Okay, right on. I get
Right
that.
on, man. Yeah.
When I was a baby, like my dad was a drummer. Like he wasn't I say it that way because he played the drums in school. He's the man in school. He played a little bit at church, but he'll tell you he's not a drummer, So I wasn't around it like that. He did play a little bass at church. But I would just notice as a baby, he would whatever music listening to is mostly gospel. I'm always gravitating towards the drums. Even when I was in church, I'm looking. I don't care about anything else except the drums. That's the most enjoyable thing to look at. Even like when a woman walks down the hall with high heels, it like really sparks my interest. So like rhythm is kind of always a thing that's getting like connected with me. So like I actually started in middle school and I had to play the tuba because like at school you cannot. Everybody want to play drums. Drums are cool, you know. So like you had to play a wind instrument, and then after the Christmas concert, you can change. So I played tuba first, which I love. And then I fell in love with the drums.
Do you still play any brass instruments then? I never knew that.
Yeah, I never knew that either, dude.
So, yes, I play them I can play low brass pretty good.
Okay.
I have the lips for low brass. I know how to play high brass because I have an education degree, so I can play everything to middle school level.
Right.
I suck at saxophone, so that's why we have Jay Connor around.
You know what's funny, man, is that when I was in middle school, one of my band directors was a French horn player, and he was a very good French horn player. And he was kind of, at times, a little harsh towards me. And then come to find out years later, the only instrument that he had problems with was saxophone when he was doing his music ed.
He just didn't feel comfortable helping you. That's
Exactly.
all it was.
Exactly.
The difference in that. Yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, like,
Like, how old were you when you started playing?
really, like 11 now, I guess. So
11?
like 6th grade. So, yeah, 11.
On drums or
No,
tuba?
so like tuba, but I mean like I guess switching to snare drum, like what they call orchestral drums or battery drums. So just like bass, snare. I didn't really start playing drum set seriously till college, you know.
Okay.
I had dibbled and dabbled here a few times at church, just from like rote and watching some people, but like I wasn't thrown into the fire till like 2021.
Do you think church music? I kind of have. I've pegged you in my mind. I've never asked this question. We've never talked about this, but I've kind of pegged you as somebody who grew up with church music.
Yeah, it's funny because like, and it's okay because you're not the only one.
Okay.
But like, most drummers think most people, musicians think I'm a church drummer because before they meet me or just like after looking in, like just because like I'm a big black guy and I'm grooving, you know, so like they think it's gotta be it, you know, like.
But yeah, no, it was the way that for me, there's something I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's like an 11th commandment I don't know about. But for church drummers, it's always fucking kick your kick and be on time. Right. And you kick your kick like you mean it, and you're always on time. Like, your timing is always good, and your kick will cut through, and it's very much like a unique styling of the way you play. Like I can in a blind taste test of hearing drummers.
Nice.
I know when Fred's playing.
Oh, that means a lot. Thank you, man.
And for sure, man. But that's something that usually comes from that world. Right?
Yeah.
Is you got to have that kick drum right. And you got to be in time.
So I would say there's definitely been a few times when I was young where like the drummer's late and I feel comfortable enough to start the song till the drummers get there, you know. But to say like I grew up playing in church and was a beast, I'd be a liar, you know. Like I said, I played a few times. My dad didn't get me a drum set till I was 16, but I wasn't even allowed to play it because like at the time the neighbors had a newborn and my mom just wasn't having it. It's like so anytime I like hit it. No, wait till go to tomorrow. So I didn't have a chance to practice. So it collected dust, you know. So like it really wasn't until like I said college. I was like, I think what happened. The original drummer, who's an upperclassman, he was also in the National Guard, and so they had a jazz band concert on a day he had to go to drill, and so everybody else was kind of like. And that was another thing. I'll get back to your question. A lot of church drummers, not all, you know, because everybody's a different situation, but a lot of church drummers play by rote or play by ear. Yeah. And so like they don't read standard notation, you know. Some can, you know, and some do later, but some don't. And so I was one of the few drummers that were in the studio that like all the guys are better than me playing drums.
But you can read.
I could read, you know.
Yeah.
Like I was teaching them and giving them lessons, you know, so I can read. So like I was like, okay, my right foot is doing this, left foot is doing this, and kind of like faked it till I made it, you know, but fell in love in the process too, you know. So kind of like I guess you can say I have a jazz background, and then all my like OGs and mentors are like blues musicians or older like gospel musicians, and so like their whole mentality is keep it simple. Yep. Keep that foot fat.
Yeah, exactly.
So that they attribute to that, you know, like hey, you gotta keep that foot fat, keep that snare rocking, you know,
and keep in time.
And that's it. Just lock it in there.
It's a dance band.
It's
a dance band.
It's a dance band.
Right. You're the foundation. You know.
Get people dancing. keep them dancing and make it simple for them because, you know.
And that's my mentality when I play. Like
Yes.
I want
Yes.
to keep the dance floor jumping. You know.
Yeah.
Yes, play the song, make the band sound good, but dance floor is the first priority. You
Right.
know? Like
Right. Yeah. Which is good because like usually, I found drummers. It's a weird thing, but like drummers don't perform sometimes for the crowd. Like they're performing for, okay, I gotta get through here. I got what with the song. Let me stay in time. Those are the things that are there. You're one of those guys that will like watch the crowd, and I notice that you'll play different and adapt to the situations that we're doing, which makes
Absolutely.
all of us all adapt. You know,
Right.
which is cool. You know what I mean? So it's like in a way, there's always like an unspoken thing when we're playing. When there's more people dancing, you won't end a song.
right.
You know
Right.
what I mean?
I'm
Which is-
watching the floor. And yeah, and
You're
like,
watching the floor.
And
Right.
like and going back to adaptability, you guys understand what's happening. You're not saying, okay,
Right.
Fred's being a jerk or Fred knows what's going on. You're
No.
like, oh, this is what's happening. Okay,
Right.
like,
It's a cool moment of like it's almost like we're all on a ship without a captain.
okay.
You know, and so it's like it's which I really enjoy. I enjoy when somebody in a band does something musically that's kind of like heads up. These people over here are digging this. Let's keep doing that.
Right.
Let's keep dancing. Let's keep this going. You know, or nobody's liking this. Let's end this.
Right, let's shut this ship down.
Yeah, let's turn it back around. Let's get out of here.
You know what? That's one of the highest compliments I was given. You know, one night, I think it was a middle C gig, a jazz gig, and this older woman, she said, "You play the drums like a conductor." You know, and
You do. You really do.
And I was like-
and that's because you are a conductor.
right.
You
I mean,
really
like,
are.
yeah, you are leading the band, but she was like, even though he's the band leader,
Right.
your role and what you're doing is really like leading, taking the turns, and like, you know, making stuff
Right.
happen. You know, so I was like, thank you. You know, but like when she said that, I'm like, oh, now you just said it in different words. You know, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You know, but
Yeah.
like, and it's not to be like, okay, it's my show now. I'm like, I just kind of like you said, being conscious of the crowd, the band, what's happening, what's
Right.
you know, what are we doing right now? You know, so like. Yeah, it's listening with all your senses, you know, not just
Yeah.
playing, you know, for
Yep.
yourself, you know. I've never had a ego approach to, you know, to playing. But yeah, like you said, I'm playing to make the booty shake, you know. That's
Exactly.
what I
Yeah.
want to do.
Keep them dancing.
I want to enjoy the show too.
Hey man, that's the
That's
truth.
all I'm
It's the
doing.
truth.
Nothing wrong with enjoying the show, having a good time.
Well, so like going back to that too. I mean, I would say the conductor thing as well because I mean, shoot, you were like when. So you said that was kind of like middle school area when you started learning how to read, playing tuba, and getting that kind of area. Like, where did that area develop? Because I feel like it's a vastly different thing to say, I'm a good drummer, I know how to play in bars, I know how to keep people dancing. But you have a fantastic, and I could say this from personal experience
Thank you.
of which I'll get into a little bit later, but like, you have a really good way of composing.
Thank you.
You're a great composer, man.
Appreciate it, man.
You really are.
Yeah, I would say, man, like, I guess I should start out by saying I'm a military brat. So, being a military brat, we moved around quite a bit. So, I would think.
How many like brothers and sisters? What was your family dynamic like when you? Like,
So, 2 sisters, one older,
Okay.
2 years older, the one younger, 10 years younger. I guess my parents got bored.
I'm a 10 years younger kid too.
Yeah.
They call those miracle babies.
Right, miracle babies.
It's
I was
not
like,
what I
yeah,
call 'em.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, we was
I don't think
kinda
that's
like,
what they called me at
right.
first either.
Like, they wanted something to do once we left. I'm like, okay, I guess. I was actually born in Philly. Couldn't tell you anything about Philly. I guess I was a baby when we moved from there.
Okay.
My parents are from a small town called Sanford, North Carolina, about 2.5 hours from here. So I claim that as home, but like I said, I mean, never been anywhere in like more than 2-3 years.
Do you want to know an interesting fact about Sanford?
No, let's
but
do
you're
it.
gonna
Put
tell us.
Sanford on the map, baby.
It's
Let's
the
go.
geographical center of North Carolina.
You're lying.
I
Really?
am not. Look it up.
Sanford 919. Y'all heard that? The geographical
I'm
center of
pretty
North
sure.
Carolina.
Pretty sure. I feel like that's a thing.
We're gonna email.
I hope he's not lying. But if he's not lying,
We're gonna get an email
That's
that's
what's
like, actually, it's 1.3 miles to the left of
You're right.
Sanford.
It's 1.3 miles east, actually, Mr. Connor.
We're gonna have Fred on the show all the time
Oh
now.
man. So yeah, Sanford is my parents' hometown. Bounced around a little bit. I would say, man, my foundation was in Colorado. That's where I started middle school. Fountain, Colorado, small town. Fort Carson. Sanford. Sanford, he's
Did you
right.
literally just
He's right,
Google that?
guys.
Okay, cool.
Sanford on the map. Center geographical point of North Carolina. So
919.
Stand up, baby. Not Raleigh 919. Sanford. Not Raleigh.
All 7 people in Sanford right now. Stand
17. Come on, get it right,
17,
man.
17.
We know we're 17, not 7. You're right.
Population's growing.
So yeah, man, my foundation was laid by a woman named Miss Poffenberger, man. And she did it in 7th, 8th grade. And she was kind of like, she saw, like, she knew when I was playing tuba. I was like, I'm playing this tuba, but my eyes are right there in the back of the room. Like, you know it. Like, you know what's
Yeah.
up. Like, you know in December what's up. And I mean, like, I did what, I mean, like, a little rhythm test and, like, can you read? So, like, I was on it already. So, like, she was in that thing. So, like, high school, I started 9th grade with a guy named Fred Schwartz. And I kind of, like, give him a lot of my, even though it was only 1 year, he would let me come in during lunch period and play on the drum set. Like, just to, like, sit and play.
That's cool.
There was a guy named AJ. Forgive me, AJ. I can't remember AJ's last name, but AJ was a senior when I was a freshman, and he was like, you're cool, you're not a brat, so you can hang out with me. So, like, AJ was a beast. Like, AJ's dream was to go to Vegas and play, like, on the strip. I mean, like, he was a beast. Like, I mean, there's no words I can say, especially as a drummer. There's no words I can say to let you understand, like, how much of a beast he was. But, like, you can tell he was a different level. Even as a 9th grader, I'm like,
Right.
I ain't been exposed to much yet, but I can tell, like, he's special. You know?
Yeah.
You meet people like that
like,
sometimes.
you
you
do.
meet
I mean,
people
like, he did
that.
this one solo with no drums. He did all hardware. I mean, like, this is like a 12th grader, you know, like,
Wow.
beast. But so, like, and then
That's
Mr.
crazy.
Schwartz was a drummer too, so he didn't mind. And then, like, I could read. So, like, they put me on bass drum for the marching band because I can read the tonal rhythms, and he didn't let me. So, like, unfortunately, that was 9/11 that fall. So the next year, with military brat, you know that's wartime. So, like, we moved to North Carolina. Different band experience, but it was.
So, you were in Fort Bragg area.
Yeah. So, in the middle. Like,
Yeah.
my dad was stationed at Fort Bragg, but I was like 30 minutes away in the country, Western Harnett.
So, which high school?
Western Harnett, Lillington, North Carolina.
Oh, you were in Lillington.
You guys keep
Really?
going. I'm going to get another beer.
Yeah, please do. Lillington, North Carolina. So, like,
Because I'm from Columbus County.
oh, so you know what's up?
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and from a place where I wished I had been, like, in Fayetteville or closer to Fayetteville or in Fayetteville, playing
Right.
in one of the bigger high schools.
yeah, exactly. So, like, that's a culture. Like, it was a different culture. I mean, the band director there was cool too, and Mr. Sutter, and he also, like, gave us some freedom to, like, express ourselves and do different things, especially drumline. So that was cool too, but it was definitely different though. You know, it was a different standard, different. Like, for example, in Colorado, there's no such thing as marching band after school. You know, we got guys on the football team playing on the halftime show in pads. You know, like, so, like, there was no practice after school. So when I got to North Carolina, it was, do you want to play football, baseball, or you want to do marching band? And, like, I'm not gonna lie, more socially, like, I missed the tryouts and workouts anyway, so I'm like, I'm just gonna do marching band. And I mean, I still fell in love, and that kind of, like, led me to college, you know. But
Right.
to answer Todd, your written question, like, I would say being diverse, in people with different backgrounds, different cultures.
Well, I mean, you as a military brat going all around, you do meet people, and you're kind of
Right.
you're almost set up in a way, whether it's, you know, right or wrong or good psychologically to ever have a foundation as a person.
Right.
But you kind of grow up with this idea, I'm guessing, of like going back to the adaptability. You're used to jumping into any situation.
Right. You used to
You
having,
know?
like, neighbors with different religions, different ethnicities, on both sides, and just, like, appreciating them for who they are. So, like, it was.
And you get that stuff like when you're super young,
Right,
and
like-
you don't have any
Like, for example,
preconceived notions.
like, people laugh when I say this. Like, I went to Fayetteville State University for my undergrad, my bachelor's, and it's a historically black college university. That was the first time I was around that many black people, like, for real. Because,
Oh, right.
Because, like, in the military schools,
makes
it's,
sense.
you know, it's just 3 or 4. I'm used to being the only black kid in class.
You're easy to point out in the class photo.
Right, and I mean, and it's a different culture, you
Right.
know, too. So, like, I was like, yo, like, that was a culture shock too. You know, I love my people, but, like, I wasn't used to that, you know. So, like,
Right.
it's different, like you said, just being around different types of people, different types of music, different cultures. You're exposed
God,
to
that had to be like super comfortable though.
I
After
loved
very
it,
quickly
man.
though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You had to. I mean, because you don't know any better. Like, it's.
Well,
you,
at first
like,
it's probably scary in a way, but then it's probably like, fuck, like
well,
everyone
no.
looks like me. That's
and
cool.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, you don't know any better until you realize that. Like, when I got to high school, and they had those awards for like one awards, but, like, just notice a group of people that have been in the same class from K to 12 or same school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you see, like, it's like 80 or 100 of them, and you're like, wow, like that's a thing, you know, like people
Right.
sit in the same, seem to stay in the same town for 12 years,
Right.
like, so I don't know any better until I meet people and say, oh, cool, this is not normal. Oh, it's not normal to like meet people and then leave in a couple months. Like that's not normal. Oh,
Right.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I didn't think about
What kind
it
of?
being-
I mean, what is normal? Because I mean, look, I grew up in a very rural high school, and
Okay.
I'm glad for where I came from, but there's also a little bit of like one of the best things that ever happened to me was getting the fuck out.
right, that's what I'm saying. So
You know?
me,
And I would still love to go back and visit, and I've done it occasionally, but like for me personally, like I wish
wanted to
that when I
leave.
was younger, I like that to me sounds like a much neater experience about something. You know?
I totally agree.
And maybe it's just grass is always greener in a situation.
Right,
But
it's
yeah.
a mindset, you know, like just
True.
knowing, like,
True.
like so I didn't mind trying things new, you know, because I'm used to meeting new people, tasting new food, you know, experiencing new culture. So like, it's the same with music, you know. Like
Right.
I definitely love the Latin culture, Latin food, the Asian culture, Asian food. I met a lot of Filipino, like a lot of Korean. So like, just to being around those different music styles and art styles, just kind of like experience, influence you as a composer, you know, and as a creator too, you know, even as I listened to, like I pulled up playing cumbia, you know, like
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Right, so like,
Well, it's funny when you pulled up, we heard a bumping, and he's like, oh, Fred's here, and then he goes, wait, I'm not sure. So that's why I went outside to see.
yeah, so I mean, like, literally, I love the diverseness, you know.
Yeah.
So it's nice to come out, like, let that come out in music, you know. So I think as my composing style, like, speaking of that, Your Neighborhood Orchestra style, you know, I don't know what your mindset was when you wrote Mysterious Ways, but when I listen to it, I hear like a Middle Eastern Indian scale droning kind of groove, like a little not a didgeridoo, kind of like it's really an oboe, but it's kind of like that, you know, that Indian whistle, you know, Indian pipe, you know, sound where like it's very melodic. So like I got to expose myself with the Indian rhythm styles and rhythm, you know, stuff like that too. So like, it all comes out.
Well, and that's what I mean, man. Like as far as like you're composing and stuff like that, and everything's okay. I got my beer. Like it was. So Elizabeth told me this. I didn't know that this had happened. When the project was started, you were tagged as one of the composers. She wanted to have you be one of the composers, and I didn't know this. I thought she also tagged who the different musicians would be. I thought she did that. And when she came here and we talked about it, she said, no, I asked the composers if there's anyone they would want to work with. So thank you for saying that you'd want to do, like, have me on the project, man.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was like, I want to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to do it every day.
Man, that's the thing, man.
It was
Because like,
so cool.
that's exactly what she said. She was like, because I composed.
Seriously, thank you for saying that you'd want to work with me,
Man.
and work with one of my songs, man. Like it was such an honor to have you do that too, man. And you
Dude.
fucking knocked it out of the park.
Thank you.
You did. You knocked it out of the park. I've been fortunate enough to have a time or two where people have covered my own music, and it's a feeling that you can't describe
Nice.
of how wonderful it is. But I do have to say, I never thought something else would top that.
Oh man.
Someone taking your song and completely recomposing it in
Oh,
this
man, thank
beautiful
you.
way. It was a thrill of my life, man. I will never forget this.
Yeah, it was a sincere pleasure, man. And like, yeah, so Elizabeth hit me up. She was like, yeah,
cheers
cheers,
on that. Thanks, man.
cheers,
Yeah,
yes.
cheers. I stole a little bit of your whiskey.
So one of the things that I think that happened recently that's really great is that both of y'all collaborated on this project with Your Neighborhood Orchestra, which is something that was developed by a local musician and composer, Elizabeth Kowalski, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Kowalski. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so fucking cool.
Yes, it's dope. She took the concept of collaborating. Like, she's really big on trying to network musicians and
That's awesome.
trying to network musicians from different backgrounds. So the first time we did it was the Boom Festival in Plaza Midwood 2 years ago. And yeah, she took people she knew from her Charlotte New Music Festival, her classical network, and collaborate with a few Charlotte songwriters, Von Hunter, Shayna Blake, Pete Lentz, and then wrote those songs for different instrumentation. So she
That's
did the
pretty
same
cool.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
She did the same thing, But of course, we had to kind of social distance. But it's a very cool concept.
So this time it was like a full like it was like an 18-piece orchestra or something.
Yes.
Yes, it was. Well, and that was for me. The orchestration was different for each artist.
Oh, right on.
So there was an artist I didn't know who it was. I didn't get a chance to check him to talk to him. But they did a quartet.
Oh, cool.
And then when Pete Lentz went, they did the same full orchestra. I think they changed some of the orchestration out. I'm not sure.
Yep.
We're gonna have Pete on at some point too.
Nice.
So I'll ask him then. But it was super cool what they were doing. It was like producer brain. Like if I put my producer hat on, they focused on the song first.
Yeah.
For every single thing.
Yeah.
Like I felt like my song was all that mattered.
Yeah, and I mean, I think also the composer plays a big part of the process. Whether they want to just take the song cookie cutter and just give it to other musicians or instruments, or they want to like throw their own little spin on it.
Right.
Kind of intensify it, scale it back, less instruments, no rhythms, no this, no that. But it's all part of the experience. But
Yeah.
it's cool.
Well, like, and on the guitar thing, when you asked me like if I would play guitar or not, I'm really glad that I said no, because I could hop in without. It was very scary to do it because I didn't have the experience of knowing. At no point could I steer the ship, which is
Right.
weird. But it was cool to let that control go. But I do kind of have a question with that. Like when you were, like I gave you free reign. You were very polite to ask, but
Thank you. Well, I mean, I think I wanted you to be comfortable too. So, but thank you
Right.
for the free reign. Thank you for.
I was comfortable because it was you.
Thank you for the trust.
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing me to be a creator. But I mean, that opened up so many different doors because love the guitar. But if we did it electronically, it would dominate so much. We would have less control, especially if I used the guitar as like the main foundation of the song.
The orchestra wouldn't have shined through.
Right, exactly. So you saying that yes, you can still be Todd Johnson without the guitar in your hand, that made things so much better. So thank you for that comfort and risk in that.
Jesus, I'm putting that on my business card. Dude. I could still be Todd Johnson without a guitar in my hand.
Right. There you go.
I'm gonna write that on my
It's
fucking
time to branch
mirror.
out, baby.
I'm gonna write that on my mirror in the morning when I wake up and look at it. But
Yeah, that allowed me to give the melody to the oboe, so that was the first thing I noticed.
that was what was so cool. Like what was it that you did when you're like, cool, I have free reign of Todd's song. Like where did you go from there, man?
Yeah,
like what was
was
exciting to you about doing this?
like you said, we didn't talk about it. So
No.
I wanted something to where you felt comfortable, but you were also inspired. So like if I gave you too many details, then you are as you say, an overthinker. Your words.
Yes.
So since you're an overthinker, I know if I gave you things to overthink about, you would start creating like what you thought it was going to be or what it's supposed to feel like, or
Right.
like making different, conclusions already. So I did not want to give you. All I said was, "Are you comfortable?" Boom. Okay, here goes the recording. That's it.
Yeah.
All right, you trust me. You say you trust
I
me. I want to
did.
see if you really trust me.
I jumped in 110%. I'm so glad I
Yeah.
did.
So I mean, like, it allowed me to kind of like you going back to adaptability. It allowed me to take the guitar rhythm and function to other instruments. But for me, thinking about, like I said, the Middle Eastern vibe, the instrument that could kind of like give that the best way, kind of persuade you that you're kind of taking this voyage, is the oboe. I don't know who was playing it, but I was like, I trust this person.
I don't know that guy either, but he did great.
Yeah, but like, and that's the
He
thing
did great.
though. Until I don't think like the orchestra participated in the recording, but Dr. Smith did not. Dr. Sean Smith, shout out to you. Thank you for stepping in. But
Man, he did such a good job.
so
Such a good
immediately
job.
when I heard it, I was like, oh, he's just going off the music And I know Todd, everybody else is thinking like, wait, this ship is going too fast right now. So I was like, okay, let me step in and like, okay.
That's why I'm so glad you're on that Zoom call.
And I'm so glad you made the call to listen to the recording. So then not only the orchestra was good, but he can finally say, oh, this is what he's talking about.
Man, it was so good to have you there and do that too, because I didn't have the guitar. I couldn't play the song for people beforehand. I played just the, the first part. And what was so crazy about it was I was so concerned with the intro. That once we got it, we got into the middle of the rest of the song. And I was like, oh, there are so many other notations that were so surprising. There's a part that you did where the horns go ba 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 that lead into the riff again.
Okay.
That I just remember sitting there, and I'm not singing yet. Like I'm just was just like, wow, Fred fucking knocked it out of the park with that, because that was so brilliant. It was so brilliant because I was like, God, I wish I would have done that.
Yeah.
Like there were 2 or 3 times while we were doing that, I was like, why didn't I do that when doing this, like the rock band version of this song,
man. I mean, I like you said, I mean, music is universal. Like, you don't have to use words. It just connects, But like, I mean, I knew that anybody who pulled up knew what they were doing. So I'm like, as long as, like you said, you got out of your comfort zone when the intro wasn't right, but once you got it right, you was like, okay, this is home, Right. So that's why I was like, okay, I know everybody's not feeling comfortable. Let me make that happen, because once you felt, I didn't have to do anything. Once you felt comfortable, once everybody was on the same page, it just fell into place.
Well, and that's what's so interesting is you had that, you made people feel comfortable in your composition of what you did, like how you wrote it.
Thank you.
And these are players that just had to show up and didn't know what I was number 4 of 10 to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
To some of the players,
yeah.
Right?
True story. I took orchestral conducting for a year.
Nice.
Yeah, I was horrible.
Oh no.
God, I can imagine.
I wasn't that bad. But we mainly did stuff with a piano player.
Oh, okay.
That was like
that was the orchestra.
Yeah, and then we did get to conduct the actual school orchestra, like in a rehearsal, and we got to pick what we wanted to do.
Okay,
well, that's cool. But I can imagine like conducting it. It's not for everybody.
It was hard, man.
It's a very uphill battle. I mean, being a band leader ain't for everybody.
It was also
being
very,
a drummer
very hard for a saxophone player who had never, played in the orchestra to stand in front of the orchestra and tell them what to do.
Right. So it's a different role now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, but man, I just gotta say with what you do, I mean, you're, I dig what you do on a musical level, and I'll say this: you're a fucking fantastic human. I love hanging around you, man.
Thank you.
We're probably gonna drink more whiskey because, as you can tell, I already sold some of it. But seriously, man, I want to thank you for one more other thing too. This popped up on my timeline the other day. The Use Some Company EP is 1 year old today.
Nice.
Woo-hoo. And it would not have been
promo video, yeah.
Yeah, that quarantine music video we did.
Yeah.
Where we were all stuck at home, and you sent a video in, and Jay did his sax solo out in his backyard because we couldn't leave the house, whatever. And you did, and it was it's funny. Well, we won't get into too personal of a moment on that, but on the show, I'll talk to you about it later off mic. But but you sent something in, but like that EP wouldn't have happened without you. You know what I mean? And I don't know if I've told you this, but with You Some Company, Wild and Free, you had to be the drummer for those 2 songs because your feel on both of those songs is what made me go, now this song is finished. And we talked about the drum roll intro, and I remember one of the coolest moments. I was like, the drum roll intro for You Some Company needs to be monumental. Do you remember this?
Yes.
It needs to be rememberable. It needs to be the drum intro for like a Temptation song.
Right, exactly. Motown.
It needs to be Motown,
Boom, boom. You need to know what song that is when you hear that drum lick.
Because you know exactly what. Ain't too proud of beg.
Ain't too proud of beg.
When it goes boom, boom, and I was like, we need that for this. But the reason I said that is because you made this song a Motown song by having you in it, and I was like, oh, that's what it needs. That's what the energy needs to be.
Threw some stank on it.
Yeah, you threw some fucking stank on it, and Wild and Free you took this song that I had that was just originally like a hip hop tagline.
Okay.
And then I wrote some verses, and I'm like, well, I'm not a rapper, so it very much differentiated from it very quickly. It differentiated into my Bruce Springsteen, Tom Petty way of writing in the verses. But like the chorus line, it to me is a hip hop song, and you took it and you found how to make it fucking groovy.
I'm about to say, because it's funny to hear you say that, because I felt it as, maybe it's the demo of the version I was first exposed to, but I felt it as a heavy rock song.
Right.
The only thing that kind of felt like hip hop about it was, I don't know if it's a synth line. I don't know if that's Jason.
That is Jason. That's Jason on the synth.
Right. I can see that being a hip hop groove, but the song itself, it's kind of like an anthem. Wild and free, like.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt so. I tried to give it the energy of heavy rock, but I think the syncopation I can't leave it. So
that's the
hip hop
thing.
is always there.
You found a way to and you're the reason why the song is what it is, because you found a way to give it this hip hop flavor, especially in the verses. And then we discussed a lot about what the Tom should do in the chorus, and we ran with it, and you did such a good job with it, man. And
Thank you.
I love that version of it. I love how it is, and man, you're just one of the also takeaway in the musicianship. You're one of the most solid people I know.
Oh man, that means a lot.
You really are. You really are. Even though you got your fucking logo on the back of your shirt.
I do. Shout out to My Faith Apparel. Yeah.
Dude.
She set me straight.
You set me straight, man. Dude, I fucking love having you here, man. Let's go drink some more off mic.
Let's do it.
We can talk about real stories.
Let's do it.
But man, seriously, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
thank
thanks
you
for
for
it. It was
having
great,
me.
man.
Yeah.
I'm like you said, we're just chilling with the mics on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, exactly.
Well, that's what's so great about this is like, I mean, we get to hang out, but I've already learned like 20 more things about you that I didn't even know. And we've been friends for years.
Here we go.
Here we go, man. All right, cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Yeah, man. That was our talk with Fred. As you could hear, there's a time or two that, maybe got a little drink. I don't think I've ever cursed so much on this podcast than when I had to go back and listen to this interview. So I'm giving myself some new rules, but hanging out with Fred and Jay is a little bit like, hanging out in a vehicle on the way to a gig. So sometimes you drop some F-bombs. So apologies if anyone has virgin ears. But thanks again, everybody, for checking us out. Make sure to subscribe, do all that kind of jazz. And we've got a couple show announcements. We're going to I don't know how much I can talk about all this stuff yet without some of the contracts on, but we're going to be putting on some shows, some live events, some fun things like that. So make sure to follow and keep up with what we're doing. This podcast it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. And we're going to keep trucking with it. And thank you guys so much for the support that we're getting and the downloads that we're getting. And just, it's been really cool. So keep with us, and we'll see you guys soon. Woo!
3, 4.